am going to go from one damn good guest to another damn good guest. Carl, you have my deepest apologies on this. Thank you for joining me, man. How you doing this morning? You doing okay?
I'm doing good. Thanks for inviting me as always.
No, man. I'm sorry. The interview ran long. My 7 o'clock hour changed.
Don't worry. I need to apologize for yesterday. I dropped the ball. I totally forgot because I have so many things going on. But I'm glad I finally made it. So let's
it is okay.
Chit-chat.
I didn't my audience knows I can be cantankerous about that stuff on the fly. I was not. I didn't bitch about it. I just thought Carl has been consistent. Something must have came up. No issues at all, man. I appreciate you joining me as a guest. I think you're a fantastic guest. And I appreciate the time that you give me when you come on, which is why I cringe when I keep people running late. So thank you for this. I really appreciate it. Carl Jha, he is host of Silk and Steel podcast, focused on China and surrounding regions and their history, culture, and politics. You can follow Carl on Twitter at Carl Jha. You can follow his podcast on Twitter at Steel Silk In, and subscribe to his podcast at patreon.com/Silk Steel. Carl, you have a fantastic show, by the way. I saw a show that you did with another woman. I can't think of her name. Your knowledge of this stuff is great. And the historical context that you give on the podcast is just fantastic. Like, I am a sucker for that stuff. So thank you for that. And so I appreciate you joining me. I'm curious if you have a take on what Wimmer Leon was saying about Genghis Khan. Because Wimmer is right in the sense that this kind of new technological advancement, some of it.
Well, I just do have a correction.
Please, thank you. I knew you would. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
I mean, he brought up the catapult, but that's really Genghis Khan's grandson, Kublai Khan. It's Kublai Khan who leveraged the Middle Eastern engineers who he brought from Iraq and Syria, who built like the Western style counterweight trebuchet that was able to bring down the massive walls of Xiangyang, the fortress Xiangyang. But that, it's much later. Like that happened like 50 years after Genghis Khan passed away, but the real advantage of Genghis Khan, the nomads always had a military edge in terms of their cavalry base, but they always had cavalry base. The nomads were always having cavalry base for 5,000 years. Why was Genghis Khan's Mongols so exceptional? That's because of Genghis Khan's organization skill. He organized them. That's the key. He organized them, and he made he made like for the first time he united all the feudal nomad tribes together in one organization, and he made the 10 decimal based system. He made like units of 100, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and he broke up the old tribal affiliation, and then he rewarded his generals with commands over these like 10,000 units, and it's the organization of his cavalry, his cavalries that made the key difference. Because before Mongols, there were Turks, they're Huns, they're all cavalry, but they never achieved the kind of success Genghis Khan did. The Genghis Khan's genius is in the organization. He organized everything. So let that be a lesson for people today. Get organized. Organization is power.
No, you're right. It is. It is. Yeah. Like, it's one thing being a single person, like, rugged individualist, but nobody's really a rugged individualist. Anything that you want to get done, you have to get done with other people, and that requires some level of organization for those people. I mean, even Napoleon, right? Like, his military success came along the lines of the way he was able to organize people. It wasn't, it wasn't special. It was the organization that made him very successful. I am so glad you can join me. So we have to hit Thailand and Cambodia. I have to be honest with you. This came out of the blue to me. I cover this stuff all the time. This was not something on my radar. It looked like it just out of the blue. I woke up yesterday late, unfortunately, for the show. I was trying to get myself together for it. And I go on Twitter because I tend to organize myself in my stories on Twitter and what I want to cover. And I see this. Yeah, I can go with this one. I see stuff like this. This is Thailand releasing a photo of an FPV drone dropping munitions on Cambodian arsenal. Then you have photos like this coming out of, I believe this one is Cambodia, where they are launching. Is this Cambodia? This one is, yeah, Cambodian army. Dude without shoes and without a shirt going to war, firing on Thai positions. The no shoes thing is fascinating to me. And you get other videos like this, and this will be the last one. They are firing rockets. I mean, this is after air attacks. Carl, that's a real war. That's not, a border skirmish. They're killing people. Thailand had to move hundreds of thousands of people out of the war zone. What is happening between Thailand and Cambodia?
Well, this is actually a long-going conflict. Ostensibly, the reason is a border dispute. The border dispute itself dates back over a century, and it's over primarily several Hindu temple that was very ancient relics came from the time of Khmer Empire. And so just for your audience, Khmer is like the main ethnic group of Cambodia. Khmer as in Khmer Rouge, right? Khmer Rouge literally means red Khmer. And Khmer Empire used to be the biggest and most powerful empire in Southeast Asia. They encompass Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, southern Vietnam. It was huge, and it was a major cultural influence over the region. It's a Hindu Buddhist kingdom, and Thailand and Cambodia, they both claim heritage to this ancient Khmer Empire, right? And for Cambodia in particular, they're very protective of their heritage because, given this glorious history of their ancestors, but about 1,000 years ago, around the time of the Mongol conquest, now we just type the conversation back to Genghis Khan. When the Mongols came to conquer all of China, they started a chain reaction. When they conquered the kingdom of Dali in today's southwest China, they started a chain reaction that they pushed out a lot of the Thai-speaking people from present-day southwestern China southwards. And this is the ancestor of the Thai people. And the Mongols, they also destroyed the Pangong Empire in Myanmar. So they created a huge power vacuum because the Mongol cavalry didn't stay because Southeast Asia is too tropical, too hot for the Mongol cavalry. So the Mongol army left, returned back to Yunnan, China, where climate is cooler, but they left a huge power vacuum. So all these Thai-speaking people, they were being pushed out by the Mongol invasion, and they're moving a mass migration moving south. And in part, it was also encouraged by the Mongol imperial authority because they're like, okay, you already pledged your allegiance to us. Now go forth and conquer, go forth and conquer. And so the Thai-speaking people spread out very quickly throughout Southeast Asia from, southwestern China all the way to present-day northeastern India in the Assam. And in the south, it pushed all the way to the Gulf of Siam, Thailand. And this corresponded to the time when the Khmer Empire was on decline. So this is the origin story of modern Thailand, of Siam, the old state of Siam. But when this Thai-speaking people came down from China, they start to interact with ancient empire like the Khmer Empire that adopt a lot of the cultural practices, embracing the local flavor of Buddhism, and this is why Thailand today they lay equal claim to the heritage of the Khmer Empire. And okay, so that out of the way, the Khmer Empire shrunk and to the present day Cambodia. The the Thai were getting very powerful. At one point, they even subjugated all of Cambodia, made Cambodia a vassal state. And then entered the French. The Europeans' colonial power came. And the British, they took over Myanmar, another traditional enemy of Thailand. British incorporated Myanmar into British India. French came to took over what's called French Indochina, which is Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and suddenly Thailand became a buffer state between the British zone of influence and the French zone of influence, and they got caught in the middle. This is one of the reasons Thailand was able to preserve its independence, because the Brit and the French decided, you know what, we actually don't want to border each other. We need a little buffer state. Thailand will be it. But still, France still demanded their pound of the flesh. So they made Thailand to give up a lot of territory, including giving up their tributary, like the overlord tributary status to Cambodia, because Cambodia is now under protection of the French. Now, the next thing the Europeans said to do is demarcate the border, right? So in 1904, France made Thailand agree to demarcate the border between Thailand and Cambodia along so-called watershed principle. So French said, "Oh, look that mountain range. It forms a natural border between the two states." Okay, the Thai very reluctantly they agree. They don't have much choice because France was much stronger power. But 4 years later, France actually start to survey the terrains, and then they published their own map and said, so they made the alterations. And they're like, well, actually, these parts needs to stay in Cambodia because they're very important Hindu temples. One of them being Priya Vihir Temple. This very ancient Hindu temple built during the time of Khmer Empire. So, okay, those are very important cultural heritage site for the Cambodians that need to stay in Cambodia. Now, this created a problem, but the Thais, they couldn't make any protest because France was stronger power. And when about 20-30 years later, when like 1930, when Thai did protest, the Europeans said, okay, you lost your chance. It took you 20 years to complain about it. So that means for 20 years, you acknowledge France has ownership over that piece of land. So sorry, that goes to Cambodia. So Thailand had to wait until 1954, when the Vietnamese defeated the French in the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. France was forced to come to the peace negotiation table in the Geneva Peace Agreement. So as a result, in 1954, French troops pulled out of French Indochina, including Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. That's where Americans jumped in, but that's a different story. But
yes, we took it over.
Thailand, right. Yeah, Thais took the opportunity to occupy this disputed territory, and then Cambodia took Thailand to court in 1962. They brought the case to the International Court of Justice. An International Court of Justice made a ruling, says the temple must go to Cambodia. But they did not make a ruling on the land surrounding the temple. The problem is,
wait. Hold
on. Let me finish. Because originally, according to the watershed principle, right? So the natural mountain range will form the border between Thailand and Cambodia. But those temples, they're right on top of the cliff, right? This is why, by the watershed principle, that piece of land would go to Thailand. But France says, no. Okay, those are important cultural heritage sites, so we can't let you have it. That must remain in Cambodia. So what happened is you have this piece of land that's just sitting on top of a cliff, which is not accessible from the Cambodian side, and it's only accessible from the Thailand side. And this is why there's a big dispute around the land around the temple, because the International Court of Justice, they only rule on the temple. They didn't rule on the land around the temple. So the dispute continued until 2008. Cambodia filed for UN heritage site, UNESCO heritage site for the pre-Vihir Hindu temple, and Thailand's like, I object. Like this should be our two-country common heritage. We should both file this. This should be like the common heritage of both Thailand and Cambodia. So that led to a flare up of the conflict in 2008, where they also had artillery deals, firing, people getting killed, and then in 2011, another conflict broke out. So finally, Cambodia brought the case to International Court of Justice again, and the International Court of Justice now rule the land around the temple should also belong to Cambodia, and Thailand need to evacuate and pull their military back. And Thai did not agree, and that led another fresh round of conflict around that time. So this is not news. The conflict has been ongoing, but it simmered down after a while, and now we are in 2020 and 2025. There was already a skirmish in May. Back in May, the two sides already exchanged fire, and then it got worse when the Thai prime minister, she made a phone call to the senior leader of Cambodia, Hun Sen, who had been ruling Cambodia since like 1979, but their phone call got leaked. The audio got leaked to the public because in the audio she called Hun Sen uncle. She said, like, uncle, we're so sorry.
Yes,
she's like,
I remember this.
She's like, she said, uncle, we're so sorry. It's so stupid. Thai generals, they made a mistake. We didn't need to have this border conflict. Now this is okay. Now a little bit of background about who the Thai
They
prime
flipped
minister
out
is.
over the uncle comment. They didn't. They thought she was born herself.
She
Cambodia,
because
right.
she came from like a Thai political dynasty. Her father was a former Thai prime minister. Her auntie was the other former Thai prime minister.
She is very attractive.
But
Very
but
attractive.
their family produced very, very attractive women. Okay, so
Yeah.
Ta Skin, her father, was a Thai prime minister for a long time, but then she got charged with corruption, and he tried to seek asylum in China, in Philippines. Nobody would take him. Guess where he went? He went to Cambodia. He became an economic advisor to Cambodia, to the Cambodian leader Hun Sen. So their family are very tight, So when she calls him uncle, because they actually know each other, they're family friends, and also like in Asian culture, we refer to like older men who are our father's age uncles. It's very common. It's a polite way of addressing you. But the context, when the audio leak, right? She was painted as unpatriotic, a traitor to the Thai nation, because like, what the hell are you doing calling our enemy uncle, right? Why are you apologizing? Why are you saying our generals made mistakes, right? You are a freaking traitor. And then that launched a whole impeachment process against the Thai prime minister. So currently, she has been suspended by the Thai Supreme Court from her duty as prime minister over that leaked phone call. And they were going to make a ruling whether they're going to make this suspension permanent, whether they're going to remove her.
That is
so it's
amazing.
at this juncture, this war breaks out. So it's, it really has more to do with internal dynamics of the Thai and Cambodian politics, right? Because yes, the conflict was ongoing. It's over 100-year-old. Stupid. We can all blame French for that, but the why it's blowing up at this particular juncture. This is because on Thailand's side, Thai have a coalition government, and this is a very fragile coalition government. Like, people might not know who have been not following Thai politics. They have a military coup once every decade, right? And this is her uncle, for example, Taskin, originally got kicked out because he was butting heads with the Thai military and the monarchist faction, and this is why he had to go. But more recently, during the most recent Thai election, the monarchist faction lost out, and they lost out to like the so-called quote unquote reformist faction that was, a lot of the Western media seeing the praises of. But really, Thai election, in a way, is very similar to United States, because Thai people get to elect which billionaire gets to rule over their country, and so what happened was the young billionaire that won the election, the military is like, no, there's no way we're going to work with this guy. We do not agree. And so they had to come up with a compromise. This is where the coalition government came from. And this is why the current Thai prime minister got put in her position, because she was kind of an acceptable candidate for both sides, for both the military, the monarchist faction, and the other faction that was trying to unseat the monarchists. And because she also came from like this political dynasty, right? Her father was former prime minister. Her mom was her auntie was former prime minister. And I don't even know if she really wanted to be prime minister. Her dad probably told her, it's like, okay, daughter, you gotta do your duty to the family. Yeah. You have to rule the country for the good of our family, right? So,
two questions.
So this is why. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Please finish.
No. I mean, this is why, her government is kind of on like very uneasy footing. It's a coalition government. It's not, they did not have a popular mandate, right? And there are forces who now we know don't want her to be in her position. They don't want her to continue as the prime minister. And so I mean, the timing of the conflict is very fortuitous. Just at this juncture when Thai Supreme Court was going to make a decision whether they're going to remove her from prime minister position for good, the conflict suddenly breaks out, right? So that's, people should be a little bit cynical about what's really happening. I mean,
the timing.
But it's true. The emotions are very high on both sides, because this is about cultural heritage, right? This is about nationalism. The nationalist sentiment runs very high on both the Thai side and the Cambodian side. They both feel like they are the party that have been wrong, because for Thailand side, they feel like, okay, that land was unfairly be taken away by the French. For the Cambodians, like, that is our cultural heritage, man. That's a legacy left to us by our ancestors, ancient Khmer Empire. You are trying you Thais are trying to steal that away from us. So this is why, that clash. But given all this, everything, even though it looks like this is a escalating conflict with Thai F-16s bombing Cambodian positions, and Cambodians launching the launching rockets into Thailand. Based on the history of the conflict that broke out in 2008 and 2011, I think ultimately this will not lead to like a full war between the two countries. You will likely to die down after a few weeks. This is because the real dispute we're talking about is really along like very small sliver of land. This is not an existential country. It's an existential issue on either side. This is like fight over honor, right? Fight over honor, over heritage, over nationalism. But really, we're talking about a very tiny sliver of land that's not existential to either party. So the conflict will likely persist, but the dispute will likely persist. But the war, I expect to be ratcheted down in the coming month, because also both countries are member of ASEAN, right? And ASEAN, and both countries have friendly relationship with China, right? And the last thing ASEAN and China wants to see is a war breakout in this region, instability. China, the one thing that China hates the most is instability in its neighborhood, because like China's Belt and Road Initiative project all depends on a stable business environment, and war is bad for business. So my hope is ASEAN and China will step in and carry out some backdoor diplomacy to calm down both sides, to help mediate and bring this conflict to a close. So go ahead. I know you have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I have a few questions, which is what. All right. All right, that's a lot to take in. For one, it is wild to me that they say Cambodia keeps the temple, even though Thailand is the one with access, but the surrounding region. And it's like, okay, well, how do you expect them to get to the temple if they can't go through, if it doesn't belong to Cambodia? That's kind of weird ruling. For them to come back later and say, oh, by the way, okay, now they can have the territory themselves. And Thailand's thing is, no, we reject that ruling entirely, in which case we still keep this thing, which is weird to me, right? Because what's the point of going to court if you're not going to accept the ruling of the court? You just want the court to rule your way, but there's that part. My question is, do you think the war would have taken place, or whatever this is, would have taken place if she was still in power?
Well, I mean, the conflict did take place while she was in power. The conflict broke out back in May. The thing is, she is not the type, like I said, she was a compromise candidate. She did not have popular mandate. She does not control the Thai military. She's not Xi Jinping. She's not Putin. She's not even Donald Trump. She has no control over the Thai military.
Wait, so the Thai military is a separate entity? Because I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Thai military, they are the one. They are the main kind of the kingmaker of the country. I mean, this is why, this is the reason why she was made prime minister, is because the Thai military refused to recognize the result of the last election. they refused to work with the guy who won, and this is why she was brought in as a compromise candidate for all parties, right? And so the Thai military always played a huge part in the country's politics. Before, from the 1930s, the Thai military literally changed the name of the country. They changed the name from Siam to Thailand, right? Thailand used to be called Siam, and they changed it to Thailand because they wanted to promote Thai nationalism. It's a very deliberate attempt by calling it Thailand, means the land of Thais, because Siam was a traditional empire. Anybody could be a resident of Siam. You could be like the Chinese merchant. You could be like minorities, the hill tribes, whatever. But Thailand made it very explicitly, this is a land of Thais, nobody else. This is a land of Thais. And that was done during the rule of the military junta in the 1930s, right? I mean, the Thai military has always been like the biggest power broker in Thailand, and they're the ones who launch coup if they don't like the prime minister being elected. So that's a problem. She does not have control over the Thai military. This is the difference. The Thai civilian government, they have only the nominal control over the Thai military, and because they have to work with the Thai military, not giving command to the Thai military.
I see.
And so there's that, and on Cambodian side, there was also a power transition. Hun Sen, who had been ruling Cambodia since 1970s, late 70s, when Vietnamese invaded to overthrow Khmer Rouge, and Hun Sen joined the government that was propped by the Vietnamese, and he has been the leader of Cambodia ever since. And now he's stepping down. I handed the reign of power to his son, right? So for this new government, new leadership of Cambodia, they need to establish their own credibility as a guardian of Cambodian sovereignty and nationalism. So, this is why they probably feel they have to do this. They gotta, because Cambodians, man, they don't back down from a fight. This is why back in 1970s, how Khmer Rouge, they launched invasion of Vietnam, and that's how brought the Vietnamese to push the Khmer Rouge out. So this is now so hopefully, I mean, these two countries really have no business carrying out a war. There's no reason for these countries to have a full-blown war. Both countries, what really need is development. development in infrastructure, in education, improving quality of life of the people. I've been on the show. I've been talking about my trip to Thailand in April, 1 month before the conflict broke out between Thailand and Cambodia. At that time, I was pleasantly surprised by Bangkok. How much improvement there have been in the last 22 years since the last time I was there.
Yeah.
And so like that's what's really important to the people of these countries. Thailand and Cambodia, they're not. They can't afford this. This is a big distraction from what should have been top priority for them. So my hope is this. Go ahead.
I mean, they're racking up bodies. They're racking up bodies, though. Like they're using planes.
This is serious. This is serious. Thai army just sent tanks across the border. I mean, they have. But it is interesting to see how the 21st century war is being fought, because obviously the Thai military, they have been paying attention to what's going on in Ukraine. Right. This is why they now having drones dropping grenades on the position of the Cambodia. So in that aspect, Cambodians military is a little bit behind because that's something that we're gonna likely to see more of that kind of warfare going forward. We're gonna see more guys firing RPG with sandals and then drones dropping grenades on top of your heads. This is the 21st century warfare, man. It is what it is. This is not the time of Genghis Khan anymore. Catapults and horses and cavalry won't cut it anymore. You got to have drones. Yeah. You got to have
bare chested with a FP, a rocket thing and everything else.
Yeah, and then you need the man on the ground who can do those things. Do it in sandals. Yeah, but really. Else. Go ahead.
Oh no, please! You say you're curious on something else. No, go into it.
No. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I was curious on this, how did this kick off, though? Like you said, this wasn't. Let me say it this way: there are people who are taking snapshot assessments that they are being pushed, and from your assessment of it, it doesn't sound like they're being pushed. It sounds like no, this is an issue that's been going back 100 years. They're very pissed off. This is taking place at the exact same time that the prime minister has been deposed, and you have this kind of a weird unity government.
I think this has more to do with internal politics of both countries.
I see.
But you should never exclude other possibilities. Both things can be true at the same time. Like who recorded the audio? Who recorded the audio of the call between Prime Minister, between the Prime Minister, Thailand Prime Minister, and the
Cambodian,
the Cambodian leader, right? I mean, like those are the questions that should be asked. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunately came down to this. Neither country can afford to do this right now. And people are saying people are saying, oh, this is a proxy war between U.S. and China. And like, no. That's not. But I mean, it's true. Thailand is a major non-NATO ally of the United States, has been since the Vietnam War, because Thailand was basically major staging ground for the U.S. military during the Vietnam War, and that's where all the sex tourism got kicked off. When the American GI takes their R&R in Bangkok, let's face it, that's where it started. And then, but since then, Thailand has been getting very close to China. And that happened after Vietnam invasion of Cambodia in 1979, 1978, and because Thailand was scared that it was next. It might be able to deal with Cambodia's neighbor, but it was not prepared to deal with the Vietnamese army parking on its border, and so that's when Thailand got close to China. In late 1970s and late 1980s. I actually met one of the head of the Thai Chinese Association in Bangkok. He's like a Thai Chinese uncle who told me the story. Like that's when the Thai military, they start to leverage their cultural, the Thai Chinese Cultural Association is supposed to be a cultural association, but the Thai military actually tasked them to make contact with the Chinese government. That's when they started military cooperation. And ever since, Thai military have been getting closer and closer to China. They source a lot of their weapons from China. Both Thailand and Cambodia source a lot of their weapons from China. So this is another, there's another opportunity for China to come in and say, okay, guys, calm down. Let's talk this over, because China do have leverage over here, both in terms of so hopefully that will happen.
Just so we're clear, though, how did this start? I mean, they're reporting that somebody stepped on a landmine. And to me, it's like, whoa, what do you mean stepped on a landmine?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter. Like, I can tell you, people, I could give you an example of the Sino-Soviet border conflict that kicked off in the 60s. Mm-hmm. The border dispute existed in the 1950s during the Sino-Soviet honeymoon period. At that time, nobody cared. The border wasn't even guarded. The Chinese fishermen can row across the river to say hello to the Russian side and fish, and the Russian border guard didn't care. It's when the relationship deteriorated, suddenly the border issue became an issue. Suddenly, every inch of land must not be ceded to the other side, and then that led to armed conflict. So this is really it has more to do with kind of the deteriorating relationship between Thailand and Cambodia, and on the Cambodian side, they actually have a pretty stable government, because he just one guy, it's just Hun Sen, and now he's passing the reign to his son. But for Thailand, they have gone through a many shift of government, due to the military coup that happened once a while, and so. Yeah, I mean, between the military coup, Thai people get to decide which billionaire get to rule their country. Right. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
So, yeah, it looks like I might have lost connection a little bit. Okay.
That's amazing.
I'm back.
So, just to be very clear, this is not a proxy war where China is taking one side and the U.S. is taking another side. This is in the family, and this is based on, let's say, over 100-year
I would not exclude
dispute.
I would not exclude anything. Not exclude anything. All these possibilities could be true at the same time. It's not like binary. It's not like 0 or 1. I mean, it could be very much true that U.S. is somehow behind this by instigating this, because right now U.S. is playing the role of spoiler, right? U.S. role, if you look at U.S. foreign policy for the last 20 years, it's basically lighting fire everywhere around the world. So that made United States seems like this oasis of calm among the world on fire. So all the investment, all these rich billionaires will continue to park their money in the U.S. dollar bonds and U.S. stock market, U.S. real estate. Right. I mean, that's how it keeps prop up the dollar hegemony. So I would not exclude the possibility that U.S. is somehow involved. But there's also, you should never disregard the local agency. Right. I mean, This is really, if the Thai or Cambodian government really didn't want to do this, they can't really be pushed into it. Right. It's more like there was some problems. Somebody light a fire, right? I mean, that's a more likely scenario than there was they're a great couple and somebody is manipulating them to break them apart. It's more like there's already problem. And somebody may show some discriminating videos, and then in this case discriminating audio.
I couldn't believe that audio clip was enough to get that woman taken out of office. I listened to it, just like, uncle, okay, this sounds weird, but whatever. And no, it was a firestorm. And in regards to this, it seems so extreme. Like 70 people got killed. in some of these barrages over the course of a few days. And I have to tell you, when it's one thing if somebody gets injured. Okay, I get that. I get people being upset over somebody getting injured. I get that part. Flying F-16s in order to bomb enemy positions is extreme. Firing Katyusha, well, they're not Katyusha rockets, but firing rockets with the intention of killing people sounds extreme. Having to move 100,000 people out of the way, that sounds like a war. That doesn't sound like a skirmish. And then when you say, well, they're doing this over a temple, you're like, what? They're doing it over a temple? What? So for our audience, for the Western audience, it's like, whoa, that's pretty extreme that they're doing that over.
Jamar, people are not rational creatures, okay? we humans, we're never rational creatures. We fight over stupid shit, right? I mean, like, and this is like a very emotional issue, for both sides. About cultural heritage, it's about nationalism, and unfortunately, for neither Thailand or Cambodia can afford this at this point. So many people are still needing infrastructure and education. Why are you wasting millions of dollars killing people? Stop it. This is silly.
Has China responded, by the way? Has China said anything about this? Usually they're the peacemaker. I mean, they're the ones that brought Saudi Arabia.
Well, the thing is, yeah. I mean, this is the thing is, China usually will conduct quiet diplomacy. They will not be like broadcasting their intention over microphone on a tweet, right? Like the way Donald Trump does. It's like that you will not know until there has been a deal made, and then they were gonna take pictures in Beijing when they shake hands, like the Saudi Iran deal, right? Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming until you actually became a final. And then when they all went to shake hands with the Chinese foreign prime minister. So we will actually never know what's going on in the background.
Is there a way to resolve this? I mean, because it's like both claim the temples, but is there a middle ground? I mean,
it can't just be a frozen conflict, right? I mean, like the dispute can go on, but people don't need to die over it. There's no need for fighting over it. They can fight over this, who should own the temple, who should own this piece of land on the internet or something, like have a flame wars. But
they just can't both own it.
Not a real war. Like,
what's wrong with just both it being mutual territory? Or that's
I don't think that's possible, because this is a very emotional issue, for both sides see them as a grief party, right? Cambodia, they saw, okay, our great Khmer Empire used to span the whole continent, and now you even want to take this last prestige of our cultural heritage from us. But from the Thai side, it's like, look, we got jacked by the French, man. The French shanked us over this deal. It's not fair, man. And so, I mean, both sides, they have merits. Both side argument have merits, but just let that dispute be frozen. Like, there's no need to kill people over it.
No, I agree with you. I guess I'm saying if both have their grievances and both grievances are valid, it just seems rational to say this is mutual territory. Don't touch it. There won't be no issue. Both sides can use it. I just don't see the issue with that. Like, that seems to be a better alternative than we're going to continuously fight.
People take sovereignty very seriously, man. Like that. I just don't see. But I mean, like, look, even United States and Canada still have territorial dispute. Did you know that, Jamar? United States and Canada, they actually have territorial dispute.
I didn't know that, actually.
Nobody is expecting. Yeah, nobody expecting that to blow up in a war, right? I mean, maybe if Trump really make his move to make Canadian the 51st state, but so far, nobody expecting like Operation Canadian Bacon or something. It's not happening. I mean, we can't be a ongoing dispute, but that be civil about it. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess so. I just don't. There are reasons to kill people. This just doesn't seem like one, right? I acknowledge there are reasons to go to war, but Jesus Christ,
Jamar, United States is threatening to blow up the whole world to preserve the U.S. hegemony, and that's an equally stupid reason, right? Like I remember, Jeffrey Sachs says, if my grandchildren get nuked over Taiwan, that's going to be the stupidest reason to die, right?
By the way,
yet that's a very distinct possibility.
By the way, I am so glad you brought up Taiwan. I almost forgot it because I was enthralled. This is fascinating to me, by the way. It's like the historical context and how people work their ways into the stuff. Oh, God, that's fascinating. This was, you have to explain this to me and tell me whether or not this is real. So there's a video that's floating around on the internet that is showing Taiwan's, and by the way, I was in Cambodia a few years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. I went to see, I was in Siem Reap to see Angkor Wat. And now the fact that these people are fighting is just mind-blowing to me. Is this really Taiwan, or these guys are wearing, let me cut this down, like armor? I mean, she's wearing arm pads and whatnot. Like they were ready to fight. And then later on, there's a video of them actually getting into a fight in Taiwan parliament. Look. I got to cut it down.
This is is
this real?
This is yeah, man. Taiwan's parliament is famous for this. This has been going on for like decades, like more than 30 years. It's just like this don't really get shown on Western legacy mainstream media, so you don't know about
insane.
It. But Taiwan's parliament is famous for like WWE moments, right? Like this, like now they're wising up. They're finally bringing some gear. I mean, they're just being rational about it. That's called getting prepared. But that happens regular occurrences in Taiwan.
That's a regular occurrence.
Media, yeah, when Western media, if they do mention it in passing, they will say, "Oh, this is a feature of the boisterous Taiwan democracy." It's very lively, the lively expression of Taiwan democracy. But yeah, that's a regular feature. You know, people in the Chinese language sphere, they just laugh about it because it's a freaking clown show, man. Like, but it is what it is. This is where Taiwan is. You know, this is kind of the Taiwan and America democracy, or like. You know, there's a convergence. There's a convergence of clown shows across the Pacific. You know,
that's amazing.
It is what it is.
That is amazing. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen it once in Japan, where Japan got into a fist fight over whether or not the Japanese military was going to follow the American military around, basically off their own shores. But I've never seen that just as a norm with these guys. Turkish parliament is kind of like that too, where these guys were getting the fist fights, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But they came prepared. Like she came like they were in a hockey uniform, like they were ready to go at it. Just
I mean,
amazing.
Look at what's going on in South Korea right now too. South Korea, you have like the South Korean right wing. Now they're marching on the street, waving American flag. They're demanding the South Korean president, who got elected, by the way, to step down because they're calling him a Chinese stooge because, you know, he doesn't want to, you know, to be like a subservient American vassal. It's amazing. It's like, this is your own president, man. I mean, like, still, as much as you can disagree with him, why the frick are you waving American flags, man?
Yeah.
How can you be claiming you're a Korean patriot and waving American flags, singing English songs, and waving English sign banners? Like, who you are really doing this for?
It's outrageous. Oh, to put it mildly, one second. Come on. One last thing. And I'll let you go after this. Are the Taiwanese Chinese? It's a stupid question. I know it is, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
I mean, okay, like I will tell you this. Like in the 1990s, if you ask that question in Taiwan, in the 1990s, majority of people will say, yeah, of course. That's not without even a question. But something happened after 1990. This is when the Taiwan government started their desinization campaign. They remove all reference to China from their textbooks. Like before 2000, Taiwan textbooks that still study the history of China, the geography of all of China. But by 2000, part of this educational reform, quote unquote, was to remove all the references of mainland China from Taiwan textbook, and it's what U.S. would call nation building exercise, right? This is nation building. They're building the Taiwan nation. Again, they're trying to form this Taiwan nationalism in opposition of being Chinese, but it's really stupid because your whole shtick is based on we're not Chinese. That's almost like you don't have an identity. If your whole identity is based on we're not Chinese, it's like that's not a positive identity. Like what are you? And so this happened in Taiwan. But for so from the perspective of Chinese government, they're all Chinese. So recently, during the war between Israel and Iran, when the Chinese embassy in Israel and Iran start to evacuate Chinese citizens, they also extended the same offer to all the Taiwanese people, as long as they have because in China they issue to people in Taiwan a identification called the Taiwan compatriot card. Taiwan compatriot. So with that piece of identification, it functions as a Chinese ID on mainland. You can buy land, you can own apartment, just like any Chinese citizens. You can write on, scan in metro. So it's very convenient for them to, buy property, go to school, live, work on mainland China. And they also use that piece of identification in times of war, like what happened between Israel and Iran. If you have that piece of identification, you can get on Chinese government-sponsored evacuation buses, flights, whatever. And by the way, when Chinese government evacuates their citizens from Iran and Israel, those are paid for by the Chinese state. Like, I remember there was a tweet.
You don't have to rub it in, Carl. You don't have to rub that in.
I remember. I do. I remember there was a tweet. Somebody said, "Oh, the reason we need to intervene on the side of Israel because there's 700,000. What is the 700,000 Americans living in Israel?"
Yeah.
Well, okay. First of all, why are there 700,000 Americans living in Israel? The second question is, what is American government going to do for the nothing? Jack shit. American government never does a finger to help its citizens in the war zone. We saw that in Yemen. There was tens of thousands of Yemeni American trapped in Yemen when the civil war broke out. American government tell them, "Oh, you are on your own, guys," because for one thing, they're wrong color, right? They're too brown.
That's the issue. That's the issue. More than anything else, that's the issue. Carl, man, I love it when you come on. Honestly, I really do. I get a lesson. I learn so much, and that's the only thing I can ask for my guests. My audience may not really get this. They think it's just an interview show. I bring people on because I can learn from those people, and you're one of those people that I can definitely learn from. Thank you for this. I really appreciate it. And just for the audience, we know Carl Jha, host of Silk and Steel podcast, focused on China and surrounding regions and their history, culture, and politics. You can follow Carl on Twitter at Carl Jha. You can follow his podcast on Twitter at Steel Silk, letter N. And you can subscribe to his podcast at patreon.com, Silk and Steel. Carl, you're fantastic. Thank you for this, man.
Thank you.